Hi, I'm Joe, and I want to teach you about how to road gear a Class A combination vehicle in order to pass the CDL examination road test. First thing you have to know about a Class A combination vehicle gear shifting is when not to shift gears. We don't shift gears legally or we'll fail the test. In intersections, railroad crossings, and on ramps with a sharp curve, and on downgrades. Can't shift up or down on downgrade. Certainly fail the test. And the other thing we have to know about gear shifting, road shifting during our test is not to let it drift. Can't have the clutch down for more than 100 feet. And if that was real life, if you had a loaded trailer, the weight of the cargo could push the vehicle right into an intersection if we don't downshift and have it in the appropriate gear, have it geared all the way to a stop. We want to use the brake all the way to an intersection or a stop signal, and the clutch at the last possible minute. We don't want to drift very far up to a stop signal. Something we always have to remember when we stop a vehicle like that is that the person next to us, the examiner, cannot see across the hood of the vehicle the way we can in the driver's seat. He may not even be able to see the white stripe on the road where you're supposed to stop, or the back of a car that we're stopping behind. So in my school, it's just an excellent school. We have a lot of individual instruction, good teachers. They demand that we stop the truck so they can see the white line across the intersection, and they also want to have at least one SUV vehicle length, about 17 feet between the front of the tractor and the car in front of us. There has to be some free space in between our vehicle and the stop sign or the intersection or the car in front of us. And the main thing about shifting these gears for a CDL or Class A vehicle is, of course, what we have here for our exam is an empty truck, just a training truck. And as such, it will start at a much higher gear than a fully loaded cargo trailer. And we can use either third gear or fourth gear to start shifting gears from a stop. And that would minimize the number of upshifts that we would have in order to get to highway speed. And our starting speed, in fourth gear is supposed to be 7 to 10 miles per hour, but we can start from a stop if we're careful in fourth gear and just go to fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth gear, and that would bring us up to 25 to 35 miles per hour in eighth gear. And ninth gear, of course, is highway speed, right up to merging into a highway traffic. 10th gear is only good for 45 miles per hour and upwards. We have to know these gear speeds. If we don't know what the gear speeds are, they could get us into trouble for dragging gears or not being able to shift into gears. It's better to shift with them flat-footed, so we don't even have to use much clutch to shift into the gears. If we know the right speeds for the gears, we have to know what each gear is capable of, possible for making in terms of the speed of the vehicle. In an unsynchronized transmission, we have to use a clutch brake to start out the vehicle, and the clutch brake is not necessary as we're going along, but only when we start the vehicle. The clutch brake, its purpose is to synchronize temporarily transmission so we can pull out, and that's when we push our clutch all the way to the floor for 4 seconds, less than 4 seconds, the clutch brake should activate in order to allow us to pull into gear, in fourth or third gear, to start out. Otherwise, when we're shifting at speed, we want to be able to double clutch if we really have to. And to double clutch, what that is we break torque between the gears to pull it out of gear, and to push it into the next gear, we'll double clutch again. And don't forget the rangefinder. It should be in the down or the up position. And I know when I drive out on the highway or the roadway, I would go through all the gears, not skip any gears. Once I start at fourth gear, go immediately to 5, 6th, and 7th. In 7th gear, you can hit that at 25 miles per hour. That's using a little fuel. Some people shift into 7th gear at 20 miles per hour. 7th gear is the main gear, I think, for the suburban streets, or for a speed zone 25 miles per hour. It's an average speed, a normal gear to have. 8th gear is good if you're coming out of town and you're going up to 35 miles per hour. It works very well at 35 miles per hour. So just remember, start in 4th, go to 5th, 6th, and 6th gear, it's only good at 20 miles per hour. It's only good for downshifting at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. And we want to have the RPMs always between 1100 and 1800 RPM. And just remember, brake torque, neutral, brake torque, shift. And when we downshift, all we have to do is add a quick burst there of 200 RPMs between the neutral and the engaging gear there, next gear. If you're taking your CDL exam, it's always better to start in a higher gear and quickly go up to the highest gear. Keep a good distance, a good watch ahead, because if you use speed, just brakes in order to start to downshift, it'll work that way. You can minimize the use of the clutch by braking to a slow speed and downshifting, but it's always better to double clutch it if you have to downshift for 3 or 4 gears in order to come up to an intersection. You can't come up to that intersection without being in gear. Just use the brake and clutch right as you're approaching the last approach to the intersection, 15 feet or so. Downshifting is easy if you know what speed you're supposed to be in, what is possible for each gear. 10th gear is 45 miles per hour. Might need that for a short time. 9th gear is 35 miles per hour. Try to get out of them fast. If you're going to a known stop, stop or turn somewhere, you have to go into 8th gear and downshift from 8th gear to 6th gear. That'll bring you right up to the spot, cruise right up to the stop sign. I hope this helps you out. Just remember, engine speed versus the ground speed. Ground speed's important, and we hope this will work well for you.